Hey, hold on real quick. Hold on. Pause.
With that, we've talked about what we've been doing lately and the current events. I know I've been watching a lot of sports lately. NBA back in the fray of playoffs. Baseball, got to be honest, I haven't watched a ton of baseball. Football, hey, just got things kicked off yesterday. Football is back in action. So you all know we're not going to dive into the specifics of how the first Sunday went and all of that business. But what I really want to talk about is sports itself. So, the NBA had kind of a make or break moment a couple weeks back where they're determining, do we want to proceed with the season or is this a distraction? There are bigger social issues at hand, especially with the shooting of, Jacob Blake. That was what kind of got them to ask that question again in the future. Now, of course, this all started, well, I can't even say it started because it's been going on since forever. But, a lot of this social justice self-examination that this country has gone through started with George Floyd back in, I think that was May. So, this has been, it's almost an entirely different month or entirely different world since all of that happened. So back to the point of sports itself. Is sports, or rather are sports, more of a distraction, or do you see them as more of an escape? Now, with that, I want to start with Chance, because Chance, I know that you were probably the first one that initially felt, hey, we're actually distracting ourselves from what matters most. So I want to get more of your thoughts on that, why you initially felt that way, and if you still do feel that way.
To put it in a nutshell, yes and no. I'll explain no first because it's kind of more positive and I won't get long-winded in it. It is a good thing. It is great therapy. Yesterday, I spent some time with my family or whatever. It was the day after, a patriarch in our family in my mom's hometown, Palestine, passed away. And it was like a changing of the guard. You know what I'm saying? We're losing like all the good ones, all the ones that, old. He was ready to go. He was like 98 or 99 or 97. Nobody really knew. As long as I've known Jerry Abrams, he's been like 137. So all I did yesterday with my family was watch football, drink beers, and just laugh and just, hang out with them and shit like that. Because it was Sunday. Nobody went to church. It's like a church-going family and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because, it was just, we just want to hang out in family. And my horoscope said family and all that shit like that. But at the same time, while we were hanging out with family, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have a big one. We were watching football. We were watching, Red Zone and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was fun, even though we weren't even paying attention to all the games. You know what I'm saying? Because they were all on the same screen and shit like that. And the audio, how they work it on that shit. It felt good. I missed it. I missed football. You know what I'm saying? Even though y'all know how I feel about the NFL. But, it's so great that, they came around to, the NBA. I enjoyed Sunday. I enjoyed my Sunday yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I want to start keeping up with that shit because even though it may feel like a distraction, it's only something like the NBA, it's every day, you know what I'm saying? Because they have to catch up. You know what I'm saying? Their season was ruined. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to finish it and then because they got to worry about another one coming up soon, whenever that's going to be. And but the NFL, they had the easy break. You know what I'm saying? They were out of theirs already. You know what I mean? It was kind of if you think about it it seemed like it was planned in a way. You know what I'm saying? For them to hey, we need a reset. We need to take this off season in the front office, the back office, everything on the field, coaching, all this shit. We need to reevaluate it because look at the people that really represent us, the players. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're black, white, or other. You know what I'm saying? Or whether the demographics or everything. It's all about talent. You know what I'm saying? It's who can play football, who can run this play.
Yeah, I know you were having some issues with connectivity, moving into the new house, getting everything all settled and all that. One of the big things you had to make sure is you actually could watch the game. So, hey, you got it all set up, all squared away, checked it out the other night. Where are you with all this? Because, I know that we've been excited about football. We've been excited about sports for a while now. It's been kind of quiet without them going on for so long. Now that that's back, do you feel that it has taken away from the issues at large, or do you feel like it's more of an escape? Where's your take on it all?
My thing is, it's definitely an escape. When it comes to a distraction, that's honestly up to the individual. For example, like the first question people need to ask is, what's the distraction from? I mean, of course, we quickly bring up, like social justice issues, which can be addressed, and you can still catch the game. You know what I mean? So I don't believe that affects it. And where I'm trying to go with that is, you can't also say something is a distraction if you haven't been about change or making change regardless. You know what I mean? Like, we need to do something, so like those can be two different entities. So we can talk about things over and over and over, but until you're being your own John Lewis, what I mean? Like, nothing's getting done.
Yeah, I know that the thing that caught me most off guard from Thursday, because, we checked out that Thursday game, and, you got the Chiefs and Texans, center field, solidarity, arms locked. And as is often the case with things like this, it becomes political. Set aside left and right. Me, I'm right there in the middle. I look at, my brothers on the camera with me right now. But seriously, though, I look at black, white, everybody the same. Everybody has their own culture and things like that. But I don't know why race becomes a political tool, why it becomes a ploy. I think what people really need to pay attention to is what's really happening here is that we're being made to separate ourselves. We're being forced to divide ourselves. I don't understand why we're booing, the NFL's messages, which are end racism and it takes all of us. We're booing that. Not we, but, people that are in the crowd are booing that. Jock, I know when you saw that had to rub you the wrong way. And I mean, I know we've talked a lot about sports and all the good that it can bring, but I mean, what's going on with some of that other stuff?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and speak on that. So first of all, answer your question, is it a distraction or not? To me, I think no. Like what Gary said, it depends on the individual, each person, and we need more positivity. So I think it can be a good thing to continue to like bring people together, to hang out, to talk, and just continue like that bond, from everybody. So that's the answer to that question. As far as like the other thing on the other side, I think people are just still trying to incite stuff, for their own gains. So they figure, hey, let me boo and let me do this, X, Y, Z to like cause even more like ruckus, even though, that's not right at all. We should be doing like positive things once again, because there's too much negativity in the world. And also too, I'm just going to say it, people are just racist, bro. I mean, we get that we're trying to change stuff, but it's not going to change overnight. It's been happening for years. So people are still, they don't like the message of positivity because they're just so negative and it's so deeply rooted within them that they can't change like that overnight. Maybe one day they will, but as of right now, they just want to see people just play football, shut up with the messages and positivity and fuck all that and just sports and beer America and stuff. And they have to realize that this is a different America. We're trying to make it different now, so hopefully they can see that, eventually. But those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I would agree. And I mean, the question initially was, is it a distraction or an escape? And I think I agree with you all too. I think it can be a distraction for some people. It, depends on, what they're already believing, what they're already thinking. If it's not taking you away from things you already think, then I guess it's not really a distraction. But the escape side of it, I look to sports not as an escape from race issues or as an escape for the political landscape on what's going on. I look at it as more of an escape from my job, my day-to-day, my, the thinking, the critical thinking that I have to do all day. I'd rather watch sports and think just about the strategy of the game itself. Now, again, you have to kind of respect the wishes of the product. The product itself are the players. NBA, NFL, baseball, that's the product. Now, look, I'll back the front offices and say you can't have a business without the people at the top managing ticket sales, managing concessions, product, merchandise, and all that. But you tell me how the Browns, the Lions, I don't know, insert any other shitty team into this statement. Tell me how they're doing It's the players. And at the end of the day, if the players are feeling a certain kind of way, we need to hear them. We need to listen to them. Any other profession, you have peer evaluation, you have reviews, you have, voices straight from, associate level up to leadership, voice back to the leadership, the people that run this. Now, sports, because they are, publicized and the media covers them, we are now privy to those conversations. We are now hearing those conversations. So I think the people that are annoyed by hearing it really, have to take a step back and take a look at, okay, sports are never going to just happen without media coverage, and there's no other part of, I can't say no other at all. I don't like speaking in absolutes, but what other kind of businesses do you have, executive levels or managers and things like that just shutting up, not wanting to hear from the associate level? That just doesn't happen. So, people want the product and they want the players to be happy. They want the players to actually play well. They want the product itself, the players, to go out there and execute. Well, then you kind of have to listen to what the players want to say. And I think the biggest thing right now, and again, you look at this divide between the political landscape, these things aren't new. Racism isn't new. Racism's been going on hundreds, thousands of years probably, back to when pre-ancient times, So, for people to say, let's just shut up and play sports, that's kind of ridiculous. These are the role models. These are the people that, a lot of the younger kids are looking at to set the stage. If you're telling me that people are fighting for equality, they're fighting to end racism, and we're trying to shut that up, that just kind of seems stupid to me.
No,
I don't know. That's where I stand on it all,
Right, definitely. Just to piggyback real quick, and I'll be quick about this, but I agree with that, man. Like I said, this is 2020. It's different now. Like you have to kind of get rid of that old way of thinking, and people are so afraid of change, and it's showing even more just with people's actions. But it's like you have to evolve. We're human. We're meant to evolve and get better. We don't want to be stuck in our own ways or our old ways forever. And we have to actually take ownership and accountability to know, like, hey, I was wrong with thinking the way that I thought about certain individuals or about certain things. Let me be more open to change. So that's all I got to say about that.
Well, I think.
Well,
go ahead, Gary.
Well, Jock, to play devil's advocate, you also got to. One thing is you can't just be too caught up in what you're preaching, because other people that are like-minded feel you. But what I try to do is get a pulse on someone else who may not view things the way I do. So, for example, like I could just put on Fox, like Fox News and listen to Laura Ingraham and kind of hear what the other side is saying. Not necessarily saying that I'm, a Democrat, Republican, but like one guy I listen to is like Ben Shapiro, just to kind of get an idea of kind of like, like what a logical or quote unquote logical person
how people think is how others think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'll listen to Ben Shapiro, even though I don't agree with him. He'll bring up comments like, oh, there's tons of SJWs out there who are doing this, and this going on, or and he'll bring up something like the reason why you guys are fighting for social justice to change or to end slavery is asinine, is because it doesn't exist. So his or other people that are like-minded, their take is slavery. I should say racism or systemic racism ended in the 1960s when the civil rights ended. So that's kind of their take. So I kind of look at that and I'm like, I base my argument off of comments, or things that the other or the opposite frame of mind may think.
I think that's very important too.
Because that's the debate. You have to counter it.
Yeah, humans are built to seek confirmation bias. We're built to say, shit, look at the way we're in school. Science project. What's your hypothesis? Now go find stuff that supports your hypothesis.
Exactly.
That's how we were built. That's how we were trained, conditioned. So, when you have groupthink, a lot of the time you'll have people that might not even agree with the majority or what they perceive to be the majority's consensus. Think of it this way: when you're in a class and somebody says, all right, does anybody have any questions? A a lot of time you might just sit there until somebody else says, I do. And they're like, you know what? Yeah, me too. I didn't know what he was talking about either. But groupthink, if the group says, okay, no, we got it, we're moving on, you might say, okay, I got it too, but you're clueless, you know? So it is important to get that other side of the perspective so that you're not just getting confirmation bias. You're not just seeking like opinions. So I think it is important to hear every angle, every perspective, every opinion, just to kind of understand where other people are coming from. Because I think circumstances a lot of time dictate that.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
web
Sure.
business.
Yeah, I agree. You know, my thing is like we can agree to disagree a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that, like at all. You know, like that's just because you don't agree with what somebody's saying and you're saying you disagree doesn't mean like you consider them like dumb or like less competent than you are. You know, it's two different thought processes. But you know, the point that I'm making is, you know, it's always two sides to every story, like just generally. You know what I mean? So like
Two-way street.
yeah, so people that are really strong and passionate, even myself and other people, you know, we all have room, I feel, just to, and I'm not even talking about politics, just as human beings, just to be more, look at everything from a grander scale. You know, I'm just
From a human scale, like bring it down to a human level. So like whether, or I actually put it like this, bring it down to like, you know, like we don't have this skin. Like we're aliens, like we're gray or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all on the same planet, or maybe we're on different planets. You know what I'm saying? But like on the same. But what we have to realize is that we are on the same planet, even though we may be on like different lands, different countries, different neighborhoods, whatever it is. You know, different people, different clans, or creeds, or whatever. It like we're all human. Like we literally all like. We may not walk the same, talk the same, but we're like all the same down to the nitty gritty. And like, yes, there's differences in us physically, mentally, you know, like philosophically, or whatever that word is, you know, like how we think and everything. Like, because it all comes down to this. This is how we really are. Like, even though we're not the same, like here we all have this. This is our main tool to use. And these and this, you know what I'm saying? And like different strokes for different folks. Like, dude, one thing I've been getting into, and like, you know, this is maybe I don't know what, like, you know, we could talk about this either like, you know, on another docket or on another podcast that you know, may build into. But I've been watching a lot of old sitcoms. A lot of old sitcoms like Sister and fucking In the House and like all those classics, you know what I'm saying? Different World, all that shit like that. And like those, you know, Sanford and Son, from all the old shit, Bewitched, all that shit, you know, cartoons and shit. And those are all reason why we enjoyed that shit when we were younger is because they're all the same stories of lessons. Like everything, all this shit, it like you said, it just goes from time to time, day by day. You know, the shit happens every day. Niggas get shot every day, B. You know, like it's some, like with those stories, with those movies, and with those, you know, cartoons, whatever it is, that those media forms where somebody, you know, they have a creator and that creator puts it in, you know, they paint a picture. Like it's all telling us a story. Like it may be different stories or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's all the same thing. It's all stories about life. You know what I'm saying? And
it really is. It's you know, and I know we'll spend time on a future episode. I feel like sitcoms are kind of time capsules. What's going on in the cultural zeitgeist at the time, right? And I think that's kind of what Chance is speaking to. These things happen all the time, and I can understand. I mean, even if I think there should be no controversy around ending racism. I don't understand who could be on the side of, hey, let's keep that around. That's ridiculous. But even if you were to say, all right, let's take away the whole Black Lives Matter thing, and let's just say pizza matters, right? Let's just say that we're all fighting for, hey, everybody should like pizza. Even if it's as stupid and ridiculous as that, there are just those groups that are going to find a way to oppose that. There are some people that just like to find a way to oppose that. Maybe they just get tired of seeing pizza matters all over, right? What I'm trying to, not what I'm trying to get people to see, because I don't think I'm going to change the world or anything like this. But what I've noticed is, you know, through this whole self-reflection period of 2020 is it's understand what the other side is really trying to say, understand the intent of the message. Now, Black Lives Matter itself has tons of different meanings now because there are different associations, different charities, different foundations,
Agendas.
all of that. And they all have agendas, just like you say, Gary. But I think at the core of the message, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, okay. I agree. They do. Now, the problem is when you have the reaction where people say, all lives matter. Okay, yeah, on the surface, that's true. But when you look at the context, it's introduced almost like a condescending response to Black Lives Matter. If somebody had just come out and said, all lives matter before Black Lives Matter really started, there'd be no qualms, right? But it's this condescending response. And I think that it's because this binary world that we live in, it's this or that, left, right, black, white, there's no room for nuance. And we live in a world that is entirely nuanced. So again, adjust. It's 2020. It's a new world. People will wear masks and bitch about wearing masks. Again, people find a way to bitch about something, right? Even if it gives you a marginal chance at, you know, keeping yourself healthy, people will bitch about it because it's something to bitch about. Somebody's telling them to do it, right? People are forcing an agenda down their throats. That's how a lot of people might think. I think it just comes down to adjustment, you know? Like, I'm here to escape work. I'm here to escape, you know, what's going on day to day. I watch football. If I see, you know, the stuff beforehand for solidarity, that's something that we should agree with. Why are we fighting coming together, you know? So I guess kind of bringing it full circle, I think that sports are, I mean, they're the one thing, first of all, it's the one live current event that we have going on right now. But it's a very unifying thing in that you see people of all races, all colors joining together. Locker room talk, I mean, it's just, we're all in it together, right? And we're all on the same team. We have a common theme. Why are we arguing, or why are we upset with people saying, hey, let's end racism? That's the part that kind of gets beyond me.
Yeah, because I mean, you have like Laura Ingraham out there who's like, oh, you know, LeBron, KD, shut up and dribble. It's their way of pretty much saying, like, we don't want the pizza lot, you know, all pizza matters like swarmed on me, you know, kind of thing.
Right.
Because if you're like a burger, eventually it gets to a point where it's like, yeah, like I'm a burger joint, like, you know, like screw these pizzas, like we matter too, da 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 da. So it gets drowned out, and it's sad. So then, like you said, Mike, life is nuanced. Then we get caught up in like, oh, I'm on this side, I'm on that side. It sucks because now it's like, are we forced to pick a side? Like, just because we say Black Lives Matter, is it, you know, that it's so difficult. It's like almost like, hey, like, oh, like now you pick the side. Like now you're a social justice warrior. Like, you know, now so anyone who's like even like far right or far left can like target you. It's weird.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's what I hope people watching or listening can kind of take away is you don't have to choose a side. Just respect the other side. Or if you disagree, you know, maybe you stand on this side, understand where the other side is coming from, understand the intent, understand the context, and respect the other side's views, you know. Try to understand, I think you would say, the other side's views. You don't have to agree with the other side, but understand what the other side is trying to get across and see where they're coming from. Because you really don't know the other person's circumstances. You don't.
Right. I would just try to understand people. Yeah, I would say it's about understanding humans and how humans think and why is this. Now, let me tell you guys something about why, you know, like that word or whatever. That's a question, you know, in itself. It's a one-word question. Why? I'll tell you the answer to all that. Tell them that it's human nature. And if you guys know, you know.
Damn, that was a good one.